Get your composure.
I knocked that.
Stop it.
No, you won't.
Mr. Wallace.
You sitting up here, you taking her sack.
Came home one time.
He tried to see if he could hear noise in the background. I'm at home with 3 boys. I don't have time. Let me hear who's in the background. Be quiet. That's his own insecurities because of his cheating he has done on me.
Did you test your ex at all?
I did test him.
And what happened?
He's not the father.
Well, that's what your evidence is, Miss Salvo. So you had your ex tested, and it would reveal that he was excluded as a possibility.
The courtroom is buzzing with anticipation as things kick off. The episode starts in the courtroom, where the case of Austin versus Wallace is announced. The judge greets the audience, and Jerome, the court officer, responds along with the audience, setting a formal yet interactive tone in the courtroom. You won't believe how the drama unfolds next, so keep your eyes peeled.
This is your 3rd time here in our courtroom with Mr. Wallace and Miss Rob. Previously, you were here because Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of your other child, but now you find yourself in the same situation.
Here we go again with Ms. Austin taking the spotlight. Ms. Austin is introduced, marking her 3rd appearance in the courtroom concerning paternity issues with Mr. Wallace. The background of their previous cases is summarized by the judge, emphasizing the recurring disputes and the current necessity to establish the paternity of Ms. Austin's 9-month-old son, Ronald, urging Mr. Wallace to acknowledge his responsibilities if proven to be the father. Strap in, because this roller coaster is just leaving the station.
Today, you say you need to prove to Mr. Wallace that he is the father of your son, Ronell, so that he can begin to step up and be a father. You claim you have multiple reasons to doubt when it comes to whether or not you are the biological father of this child, and today is your last visit to this courtroom.
Just when you think it's calm, Mr. Wallace stirs up a storm. A conflict escalates when Mr. Wallace derogatorily addresses Ms. Austin, leading to a courtroom intervention by Jerome, who admonishes Mr. Wallace's behavior. The judge demands respect and decorum, ultimately expelling Mr. Wallace from the courtroom temporarily, highlighting the emotional and contentious nature of the proceedings. You might want to grab some popcorn for what's coming up next.
She is a whore.
You're not gonna address a courtroom that way. You better pipe your down. Get out of room, Mr. Wallace.
I never had anybody to show me how to treat a woman or to be a man. Need help on.
Oh boy, Mr. Wallace drops another bombshell. Mr. Wallace admits to his ongoing indecisiveness between Ms. Austin and another woman, Ms. Roberts, further complicated by Ms. Roberts' current pregnancy, which could also potentially be Mr. Wallace's child. This revelation shocks the audience and adds another layer of complexity to Mr. Wallace's relationships. Buckle up, the twists and turns get even wilder from here.
But you still going back and forth between the two, because she's pregnant now, and the baby could potentially be yours?
Yes.
Because let me just say something, because last time I talked to you on the phone, you know I called. You had your kid, you sounded so happy, you sound like you were on the right track.
The courtroom goes silent as Ms. Austin shares her tale of woes. Ms. Austin discusses her challenging personal circumstances, including multiple pregnancies, and attempts to stabilize her life through education and relationships. Her emotional strain is evident, compounded by the social stigma and personal regrets expressed openly in court. What she reveals next will definitely raise some eyebrows.
Since the last time we was here, everything started out, but we all knew that wasn't gonna last long. Still bouncing back from me and Kendra. I had enrolled in school, but I never did go. I had got pregnant once again, and she got pregnant with her baby. And as you can see now, once again, I'm pregnant again with my 3rd baby.
I don't know if it's because you're nervous, Miss Austin, which, look, I wouldn't blame you if you were, but it's not funny. I keep seeing a smirk on your face.
Things heat up to a boiling point with a fiery exchange. A heated exchange erupts between Ms. Austin and Mr. Wallace regarding fidelity and personal attacks, leading to a chaotic scene where both parties hurl insults. The judge intervenes, stressing the need for respectful communication, but the altercation underscores the deep personal conflicts and mistrust between the individuals involved. Fasten your seatbelts, because there's more turbulence ahead.
Text messages and call log and send a copy to my email. About the 5th, 6th time, texting different men.
Well, where your proof at? I never saw it.
Miss Austin, were you sleeping with these men?
No. Lie detector me, please, right now.
How is you can't just be involved with all these different men without...
Because you lay down with everybody who you talk to, because that's what you do.
You and the Lord know you a slut.
No,
like,
you're
Hold on, member, from the
You're
last
a slut.
time you were here. We are going to speak to women respectfully in the courtroom.
All hell breaks loose, and the judge calls for order. The altercation escalates physically among the parties, forcing the judge to call for order as security intervenes. The severity of the dispute prompts the removal of Ms. Roberts from the courtroom, emphasizing the volatile emotions involved and the challenge in maintaining courtroom order. You won't want to miss what happens next as they start to see or they try to dial down the drama.
Just because I know that you with her.
To do with that.
Yes,
If you was sleep with somebody else, man, then you got low. I know you was
Let's get Due to the exchange that occurred between Ms. Roberts and Ms. Austin, Ms. Roberts has been removed from the courtroom. You know, we're here because yet another child is in the world, and we're unsure if you are their biological father.
Mr. Wallace is clearly not having a good day, and he's not shy about expressing it. The air is thick with tension as Mr. Wallace voices his frustrations, accusing the judge of bias. This tension culminates in Mr. Wallace threatening to leave the courtroom, but he is persuaded to stay and address the issues at hand, reflecting ongoing communication and emotional challenges. The climax of this courtroom saga is just around the corner.
Bull crap performance she put on. Well, I need to walk out.
Roniel, don't walk out again. You do not repeat the same mistake as last time. Stand up here, get your composure.
I knock that gun
Stop
out your
it.
head.
No, you won't.
Mr. Wallace.
You sitting up here, you taking her
Come
sack.
on.
You ain't even let me get a word in.
Stand up.
Finally, some answers, and maybe a bit of peace. The paternity test results are revealed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wallace, you are Ronell's father.
Buckle up, because this ride is just getting started. Ms. Nesbitt initiates legal action against Mr. Henderson to establish paternity for her 7-month-old daughter, Zion. She's firm in her belief and demands that Mr. Henderson step up once the DNA test proves her right, showcasing the high emotional stakes. You won't believe the curveballs coming up next.
You are suing to prove to Mr. Henderson that he father of your 7-month-old daughter, Zion. You say that when the results prove you right, you expect Mr. Henderson to step up. You claim your case is simple. You say Ms. Nesbitt cheated on you with her neighbor. He is Zion's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Grab your popcorn, things are getting spicy. Mr. Henderson counters with a bombshell accusation of Ms. Nesbitt's alleged infidelity with her neighbor right around when conception could have happened. His bold claim ramps up the drama, stirring the pot of this heated paternity debate. The next twist is just around the corner, and it's a doozy.
Well, he buy her diapers, that's about it. He doesn't do anything for my child. He does more for my 2-year-old son that he knows that's not his than his own daughter.
Because I feel that I shouldn't have to take care of another man's baby.
Get ready for this jaw-dropper. In a fiery exchange, it's revealed that Mr. Henderson went behind Ms. Nesbitt's back to sign the birth certificate, even though she had serious doubts about his paternity due to her own uncertainties. This bombshell adds layers to their already complex relationship saga. Brace yourself, because the story spirals even wilder from here.
You know that's your child. You've been knowing from the beginning. You signed the birth certificate down the stairs and signed it without my permission.
Yes, I did.
I went downstairs to go get my birth certificate to put his name on there because I had doubts from the beginning, but he snuck anyways and signed his name on there.
You had asked him previously not to sign it because you had doubts yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
You'll want to sit down for this one. Judge Lake digs deeper, questioning why Mr. Henderson would acknowledge paternity by signing the birth certificate, yet barely engage in his daughter's life beyond buying diapers. This crucial point underscores his confusing stance on fatherhood. Hang on tight, because the revelations just keep coming.
Your Honor, because I didn't want him all in my business.
Oh, Your Honor, that's a lie. He's not the birth certificate. He have rights of the baby, so he can get custody of the baby.
You understand, when you sign a birth certificate at a hospital, you are acknowledging paternity legally. You said, I'm the father, I'm responsible, I'm gonna take care of this child. So why are you not taking care of the child and only bought some diapers?
The baby's not mine, Your Honor. I can't be no man that's taking care of another man's baby.
Just when you think you've heard it all, Ms. Nesbitt confesses to a vulnerable moment that led to a scandalous one-night stand with Mr. Brown, neighbor, during a rocky phase with Mr. Henderson. This unexpected twist adds even more intrigue to the already muddled paternity question. The plot thickens immensely in the next scene, so stay tuned.
Well, let me tell you how it all began. He had sex with his cousin, and I felt very vulnerable about it, you know.
Yes, I did, but that was before her. She already knew about that.
Yes, let me tell you how it all began. You know, I received the inbox telling me she said that she had sex with my little black car and they had a baby. And I felt very astounded about it, so, you know, Miss...
Told you before that when you was sitting in the car with your friend.
No, that's not true, and you got her pregnant.
Yes, it is. It's true, Your Honor.
Here comes a wild card. Mr. Brown steps into the courtroom, throwing another layer of chaos into the narrative. He shares his brief but impactful encounter with Ms. Nesbitt, complicating the paternity puzzle even further. You won't want to miss how this plays out. Things are about to get even more convoluted.
Brown, we're here, of course, discussing the paternity as it relates to baby Zion. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Ms. Nesbitt.
First met her, she had moved to my apartment building a couple doors down. I used to always flirt with her, to blink her eye at her, you know what I'm saying? Because she was a cute girl, you know?
She was a nice friend. and that's about it.
Yeah, that's basically about it, you know?
Have a sexual encounter with her.
Yeah, one time.
It was just like birthday sex, that was about it.
Can you handle more? As the DNA test looms over them, Mr. Brown shows a surprising readiness to accept fatherhood should the results prove him to be the dad, despite using protection during their encounter. His openness adds a poignant twist to the ongoing drama of responsibility and fatherhood. The climax is just around the bend, and it promises to shake everything up.
You submit to the court that she doesn't look anything like you, in your opinion.
One day she had told me she didn't want to take the first, she's gonna test. I'm like, yeah. Then one day she called, text me like, you don't hurt
Your
his
Honor,
feelings
he's
or
the
something.
one that called me.
So wait, she asked you to take a test. Do you mind?
Tell her what I tell her. I don't mind taking a
Your
test.
Honor, that's not true. We should take a DNA test, and I told him no. He said that's unfair.
Cause she done already told me a couple times already to take a test. And you already told me and texted me that it might be my baby. So, you know what I'm saying? I got 4 kids already. I don't mind taking care of another one.
Here's the moment we've all been waiting for. Straps tightened, the DNA results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not her father.
Oh! Hey, I told
Okay,
you.
sit down, Mr. Brown. We don't.
Here we go. Miss Salvo takes the stand with a heavy heart. Miss Salvo testifies in court, emotionally claiming that Mr. Gonzalez is the biological father of her daughter, Amaya. She expresses her deep concern about Amaya potentially growing up without a father, which evokes a reaction from the audience. Just when you think it's all tears, Mr. Gonzalez drops a bombshell next.
You claim that around the time you conceived your 1-year-old daughter, you carried on a sexual relationship with the defendant, Mr. Gonzalez. Today you say you desperately want to prove Miss is her biological father because it will break your heart if she has to grow up without a dad.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you believe this twist? Mr. Gonzalez counters Miss Salvo's claims by accusing her of being untruthful and suggesting that other men, including his best friend, could also be the father of her child. This raises doubts about the paternity of Amaya and complicates the case. Buckle up, Miss Salvo's response is coming up and it's a doozy.
You state you're also hoping Amaya is your daughter, but because of Miss Salvo's repeated lies, you have no idea. In fact, you argue that Miss Salvo had sex with multiple men, including your best friend, and any one of them could be her child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hang on to your seats, folks. Miss Salvo is not holding back. A tense exchange unfolds as Miss Salvo vehemently denies Mr. Gonzalez's allegations of her infidelity. She admits to only having a sexual encounter with him once while intoxicated, which she regrets, further complicating the narrative of their relationship. Next up, the plot thickens even more, if you can believe it.
Your Honor, I can't stand him. He knows Amaya's his daughter, but he refuses to take care of him. Ever has sex with any Hispanic man but him. Black people. I don't like Hispanic men. I was intoxicated at the time. I was drunk. He came over. He got me at the right time.
You had sex with him just one time?
Yes, and he claiming that it's been multiple. No.
Just when you thought it was just about baby drama, Mr. Gonzalez recounts a more naked time. The court listens to Mr. Gonzalez's description of their ongoing sexual relationship, which includes multiple encounters. His recount includes a humorous incident involving his nudity in the kitchen, witnessed by Miss Salvo's mother, adding a lighter moment to the proceedings. Don't go anywhere. Miss Salvo's counterclaim is just around the corner.
I started off with her mom knew my mom. I knew Ashley. So we will go over, we'll drink, we'll watch movies and stuff. One thing led to another. We started kissing. We had sex. I was thirsty.
Did you use protection?
No, ma'am. I was thirsty. I went to get something to drink in the kitchen. I was naked. Her mom saw me. Her mom didn't get mad at me or nothing.
Strap in for Miss Salvo's fiery comeback. Miss Salvo disputes the claim of multiple sexual encounters with Mr. Gonzalez, asserting it only happened once and it was not memorable. Her testimony emphasizes her current belief that Mr. Gonzalez is the father due to the physical resemblance between him and Amaya. The courtroom's about to heat up with the DNA results up next.
I had a current boyfriend at the time yet.
Were you also sleeping with the boyfriend during the same time period? Were you using protection with your boyfriend?
Periodically, but not as much.
Not consistently?
Yeah.
Any reason why your boyfriend's not in court today as one of the potential fathers?
The reason we stopped with contact because, he did help me financially when I thought that she was his. But when I had her, when I looked at her, I just knew it wasn't his. He was black and she...
The suspense builds as another father figure gets ruled out. The court hears about the DNA test results from another potential father, which excluded him as Amaya's father. This testimony heightens the anticipation of the results concerning Mr. Gonzalez. Wait for it. The judge's next announcement is a jaw-dropper.
Well, the only way to truly exclude a potential father in a paternity situation is a DNA test. Did you test your ex at all?
I did test him.
And what happened?
He's not the father.
Well, that's what your evidence is, Miss Salvo. So you had your ex tested, and it would reveal that he was excluded as a possibility. So now that you know her ex has been tested,
you might want to grab some tissues for this one. The climax of the episode occurs as the judge reveals the DNA test results.
Mr. Gonzalez, it has been determined by this court that you are not the father.
No time wasted, accusations fly. Mr. Barlow jumps straight into his doubts about the paternity of Jabril, claiming the boy looks nothing like his other children. This assertion sets the main conflict of the episode, revolving around paternity and Mr. Barlow's suspicions. It's a roller coaster from here, and you won't believe what's coming next.
You say your 8 kids look exactly like you, but the defendant's son, Jabril, looks nothing like you. And that's because you're not his father, and you know who is. You stand in court stating that Mr. Barlow is your son's biological father, but also say if he's not, there's a good reason for it.
Things heat up with some heavy allegations. Mr. Barlow throws out a bombshell, accusing Ms. Winslow of cheating with the landlord during his absence, which she strongly denies. The audience reacts vividly, and the judge's probing adds even more fuel to the fire. Buckle up, because the drama intensifies from here.
Your Honor, I doubt these things due to the fact that during the time of Jabril's conception, you understand, and as I was away,
Your Honor, it was around enough for us.
While I was away, I believe she was sleeping with the landlord.
You do?
Yeah.
And that's not under the landlord.
Why do you believe that? What evidence do you have?
The way I would call all the time, because I got a long past of infidelity. And so I left. When I went away, he said payback some.
Plot twist with a side of suspicion. The discussion turns to the odd hours the landlord seems to be around, like fixing things at 10 or 10 p.m., which Mr. Barlow finds highly suspicious. This testimony dives deep into the peculiar nature of the landlord's visits to Ms. Winslow. What unfolds next is even more intriguing, so stay tuned.
Call me back.
Your Honor, the landlord there at the house.
So you're saying when you call, the landlord would be there and she tell you to call back?
Doing his landlord responsibility.
So I hang up and
because I ain't need my undivided to see what's going on with the house.
Clearly, if the landlord's going to repair something in the apartment, so if she says, just because she wants to make sure he's fixing the right thing?
I'm calling at 10 p.m. and
you
he there.
the house at 10 p.m.
Yeah,
and you know why, Your Honor?
And stuff.
Just when you thought it couldn't get more complicated, Ms. Winslow details a convoluted backstory with a previous landlord and how her current landlord let her move in without upfront payment. Mr. Barlow sees these acts as potential evidence of a personal connection. The next bit will have you questioning everything you thought you knew.
This is what happened. When I moved into this apartment building, I had got duped by a crooked person. The landlord that I was supposed to move into a house in, I paid him $2,000. What I went to do is get my lights cut on, and they told me that the place that I was trying to rent, therefore I'm driving around in a U-Haul with no place to go. I come across the landlord, gave my $2,000 to a landlord that was crooked, and I can't even move in the house.
Dialing up the drama with more doubts. Mr. Barlow talks about how Ms. Winslow frequently hung up on him, fueling his suspicions of her infidelity. This segment highlights Mr. Barlow's growing mistrust and Ms. Winslow's escalating frustration. Hang on, because the emotional stakes are about to soar even higher.
Over, no exaggeration, over 80 times I call, and I'm like, yo, what's up, babe? Hey, I can't talk right now. Click, and so I call right back. I got the landlord here,
You said over 80 times. Called, and she basically just hung up.
Came home one time.
He tried to see if he could hear noise in the background. I'm at home with 3 boys. I don't have time. Let me hear who's in the background. Be quiet. That's his own insecurities because of his cheating he has done on me.
A twist that'll make your head spin. Mr. Barlow expresses that Jabril doesn't seem to have any family resemblance and speculates about the landlord's possible ethnicity linking to Jabril. He also entertains the idea that the child might have been switched at birth. The next revelation is a jaw-dropper, so don't blink.
I came home one time, I just popped up, right? I pop up one time, they crossing the street. I think the dude is stranger because I ain't never met him yet. And so they walking across the street and I'm like, yo, I approach all of them. Hey, what y'all doing with this stranger? He the landlord. You know, they got ice cream and sodas. He coming in, you know what I'm saying? I come home another time, they playing football, you know what I'm saying? Playing ball. He always at the house. For what?
That's a very nice landlord.
Emotions hit a high note. Ms. Winslow, in a tearful outpour, shares her fears that Jabril might not be her biological son, suggesting a possible switch at birth based on his distinct appearance and public reactions. The courtroom is gripped, and what happens next is truly staggering.
You say you feel like the baby doesn't look like you.
Only reason I can't tell you that they got the same hair color because he bald head.
My son obviously has African-American features. He doesn't look like me or Mr. Barlow.
Your son is very fair-skinned. Oh, he's a beautiful little boy.
Yeah, that's...
And so you feel like when you look at him, though, you don't see any resemblance.
He doesn't look like me or Mr. Barlow. So now that leads me to believe the only way that this baby is not this man's child.
Judge takes a breather. Suspense builds. Judge Lake calls for a pause to dig deeper into the case, underscoring the complexity and gravity of the situation. This intermission ramps up the suspense about the forthcoming paternity and maternity revelations. You might want to sit down for this part. Things are about to get real.
We're back in session in the case of Barlow versus Winslow. You've claimed this child could have been switched at birth. Go back to my chambers. I needed to do some research. I needed to look through the results. I had to find the maternity so that I could confirm whether or not you are in fact Jabril's mother. Is 99.9999%. You, Ms. Winslow, are Jabril's mother.
The big reveal holds your applause. In a climactic turn, the DNA results are disclosed.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Barlow, you are the father.
Thank you.